I've got one Astros question before we get to the Royals. How about that? Over under an average of one hit batter per game,
Ooh,
which would be really high.
that is really high per game.
I think they only got hit 60 times last year in the full season.
They have to be hit 60 times, 3 times as much almost.
But all of the teams don't like them.
That's true, but they're only playing. It's not like they're going through every team though this year,
Right?
Because they're playing their own. They're only going to play 9 different teams, four in their division plus the 5 in the NL West.
The Royals not purposely hit them 3 times, yesterday. So
yeah, a few hits but I think though, especially because they're really cracking down as we talked about earlier on fighting, which is what would happen. But maybe the Astros aren't going to fight back because they realize, oh, this is going to happen, and we might as well take our base. Because again, it's an advantage to the hitter if you don't get hurt. It might be a bruise on your body and also to your pride, but really getting on base is really worth it usually.
Right, and the suspension in this season would be really bad.
Yeah, I don't think that they're going to get hit once again. I think it'll seem like they're getting hit a couple times a game early, but then I think people are going to forget about it.
I think they will get hit a lot this year.
Okay, so you think over?
It's.
Or do you want?
I'm going to say over. I'm going to say over.
Okay, so I can pick a number and you can go over that if you want it.
Yeah. But, I'll take the. Well, it's 60.
60. Okay, I'll say under 60.
Yeah, I'll take or 59.5 maybe.
59.5. You want the?
Let's do 59.5. So
I'll give you 60. I'll give you the 60.
Well, let's make it 59.5, and then it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's a very high number though. That is.
I'll say under.
That's a lot. That's a lot of hit batters.
I'd say comfortably under, but I don't know. You might be right though. I would say over if they played a kind of carousel of teams.
They just played every team
all those teams want to crack at the Astros and say, I'm going to get you guys. But now here they don't play that many teams. It's the same teams over and over. So I could see that getting old.
I think maybe the teams may not feel that way, but some of the players might though, right?
That could be. So, every player gets a chance to hit an Astro. Yeah. Okay. I could see that.
All right, let's go to the Royals specifically.
All right, let's go to the Royals.
Royals win total for the season.
I'm going to say I think mostly the over-unders are around 24 to 26.
Their win total from last season would be equivalent of 21 wins.
Yeah. They were so bad last year.
So anything over 21 is an improvement, right?
And bad for such long stretches at a time last year. I don't think they're going to be that bad. I think
different manager.
I'm going to say 27 and 33 this year. I'm going to be very optimistic, actually.
That's pretty optimistic.
Yeah, that's pretty optimistic. 27.
I thought I was going to be optimistic. Now I think I have to be more optimistic.
Oh, really? Oh, I like that. Now that I'm really forcing you out of your comfort zone. So your goal was more optimism than win total.
I thought I was going to be the optimistic side, and then you went higher than what I thought my optimism was. So I'll leave it right at a 500 season, 30.
I would love to see that. They would challenge for a wild. They would be in the hunt probably for a wild card, unless they were 23 and 30, which would probably have. They were 23 and 30, and they win their last 7 games.
That's old school Royals right there.
That would be the ultimate Royals move.
That's so Royals.
Yeah.
All right. Next on my list, number of Duffy starts.
So Duffy is starting the first.
He's the opening day starter.
And every 5 days.
All his starts, he'd have either 12 or 13.
12 to 13 starts, depending on the off days.
Off days, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna say probably he does not usually last a whole season.
But this isn't a whole season either.
I know. He's usually hurt at some point. 12. I'm gonna say under 12. I'm gonna say 10 starts. I'm gonna say he gets 10 starts though.
I'll go one up and say 11.
11. Okay.
Make it so there's no push.
Okay. Put it over under 10.5. Yeah.
Right. It's the same thing then, right? Yeah. Home run total for Soler.
I don't think he'll have quite the same pace as he did last year. I think also maybe Dozier being out of the lineup might hurt him a little bit at the beginning of the season because he'll have less protection.
Yeah.
Even though Dozier might hit ahead of him. but I think there's going to be less protection in the lineup in general. And so, but I think he'll still hit a lot because I think if he stays healthy, he's got power to spare. So 48 out of 162 would have been close to 20 home runs, but maybe 19 or 18. I'm going to say he hit 16 home runs.
I think he'll be a little higher. I think he finished last season at a pretty strong pace.
He did.
And I think the early part of the season is what slowed him down a bit. Anyway,
it could be.
Maybe I'll say go a little higher than that. 20. I'll say 21.
Ooh, we've got a lot of room. 16. Okay, 16 and 21. I would like to see him at 21. If he hits 21, I think he'll challenge for the league lead.
Yeah, I still think that the home run totals are going to be high this year for some reason.
Yeah, I can see that. Again, just to generate interest, I think they can juice the ball.
Maybe a bit, yeah. And then pitchers may not be quite as ready.
Yeah.
The pitchers are ahead of the hitters. I think maybe this is the year that pitchers will be behind.
I guess they will get a few. Well, they do have a couple games in Cincinnati.
It's really about staying healthy to get to those high.
Yeah, they don't. The AL Central parks, none of them are super home runny. Maybe you can miss. Maybe U.S. Cellular, whatever it's called now.
Now it's an insurance company. It's
Guaranteed Rate Field. It's not bad. I don't even know what it is anymore.
Yeah, it's something else now. Yeah.
What was once New Comiskey Park?
Right.
That David Scaff helped design.
That's right.
Along with Camden Yards, I remember that. With HOK.
That's right.
Now Populous or whatever it's called.
Right.
Okay. So.
All right. Okay. Team leaders in hits.
Hits. I'll say Witt for hits.
I'm gonna not be exciting and also say Witt.
Yeah.
Home runs.
Home
Probably
run.
not gonna be exciting here either.
Home runs, I think so. I think Dozier could have challenged, but I think since he's not going to play the whole season for sure, we know that.
I think I'd stick with Soler.
I'm going to do Soler as well.
RBIs.
Soler, I think, as well, because I think again Dozier would be. I think Dozier would be more of a choice even for RBIs than Soler, but he's going to be out at least a little bit. I would like to see somebody like Gordon challenge for the RBIs because he's going to hit in the middle of the lineup.
Probably behind Soler, right?
Soler, behind Dozier, have maybe chances to drive in Witt or Mondesi sometimes.
We think Mondesi, maybe would have a chance at having a higher RBI total if they push it down in the lineup just a bit.
Down the lineup, but I think it's going to be Witt lead off Mondesi too.
It seems like they're sticking with that. New manager seems to be sticking with the old strategy though. Witt lead off, Mondesi hit 2. But that seems to be like where they.
Yeah, I might switch it. I might actually like Mondesi number first and Witt 2, but I think either way. I think it's going to be those two at the top. Yeah. So I'm going to say Soler again. Partly because I would say maybe Dozier, but he's not going to.
He's going to miss at least a week anyway.
Yeah.
At least a week.
Yeah, and that's 10th of the season. So yeah.
Yeah.
But again, it's not that many games. You can catch up quickly though.
True.
Again, if you have if you get a grand slam or something like that, or a 6 RBI game, that can really change.
Make a big difference. Yeah. All right. I think we both picked Soler there, right? Yeah. Win total. Who's going to win the most games for the Royals?
Pitching wins?
Yeah.
Pitching. I want to pick a starter. I don't want to pick a reliever. Keller, it seems like he's going to come back. So I'm going to say Keller.
He is back with the team.
Yeah.
And Junis, though,
is
apparently also tested positive.
Yeah, the Royals, it seems like
starting the season on the injured.
It seems like all the Royals who test positive are all kind of star players, or stars a relative term, but it seems like it's not
Royal stars. It's maybe a different
stars. Yeah, it's a veritable firmament of stars in the Royals system. Everybody gets all the Royals are stars, but I think Junis was. I'm gonna say Keller.
I think I'll say maybe Duffy.
Okay.
Has a good year this year with a short season and as well. If he's going to start 11 games, I think.
You think he's going to get? You think anyone's going to get to 5 wins?
5 or 6 wins, maybe. Yeah. Somewhere around there.
Okay.
Or maybe he moves to the bullpen and picks up a couple cheap wins later.
Yeah. I was like, I could be a bullpen guy.
Yeah. All right, and who leads the team in strikeouts?
Pitching.
Yes. Yes.
Hitting strikeouts.
Let's not look at the negative stat. Yeah.
Okay. It's like probably Soler maybe for the hitting or Dozier, but Pitching strikeouts. I'm gonna say Keller again.
So Keller wasn't much of a strikeout pitcher to start last season, but he did come on later in the season.
Yeah.
I think I'll stick with Duffy.
Okay, so Duff man and Keller both times.
All right, here's one of the oddball. Will a Royals starter throw a complete game shutout? Over under 1/2 of a complete game.
Complete game shutout?
Yep.
No.
There was one last season.
There was one last season.
Yeah.
I think it's even less likely this season. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say under.
I would say under also.
I would say under even on complete games, shutout or not.
Right.
Because
there was one complete game last year, and it was also a shutout.
Yeah, because I would say.
And it was from a surprising source, though. Name the player that threw the complete game shutout.
I remember the game, but I can't remember who was it. I give up.
Glenn Sparkman,
who had like a 6 ERA. I remember that game.
So too, yeah. 4-11, but threw a complete game shutout.
Yeah, it was like that the Jorge Lopez game from 2 or 3 years ago now, right?
He was flirting with a no-hitter. That was awesome.
He had a perfect game through 8, and then he had a no-hitter through 8 in the third, and then lost both. That's what I still think of Jorge Lopez as harnessing that. It's a little bit like when Luke Hochevar had such couple of really great starts. Like one, he had like a complete game, 70-pitch game or something.
Right. Yeah.
79
pitches. I think. Yeah, that was great.
And he's gonna finally get it. But he became a decent reliever, but he never lived up to that number 1 overall pick. But of course, we won the World Series with him. So
true. All right. Royals best hitter by WAR.
Best hitter by WAR.
Not necessarily, the home run hitter or the RBI guy.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess Mondesi.
Well, that's a solid pick.
I think Witt maybe would be good too. It's either Witt or Mondesi probably. I would say Dozier maybe was last year, but I don't know if he's good. Part of WAR is kind of being a counting stat because you have to be in there for a while.
Mm-hmm. And defensive stats help too.
And defensive, and Mondesi can be a good defender. I don't know how consistent he's been, but he's. Yeah, I think I'm gonna say Adalberto.
I think I'll go with Witt.
Okay.
He's been very consistent since he's been up.
Yeah.
So, and he's been one of the top players on the team every year since he's started. Been a starter anyway. Best pitcher by WAR then too.
Keller, I'm gonna say. It has to be a starter. Relievers don't get accumulated that much. Since Keller's got strikeouts and wins, he's probably gonna have WAR. I couldn't imagine anybody else. But
right.
Are you gonna go Duffy?
I think I almost have to, unless I want to hedge and also pick Keller, just in case, so I don't lose all 3 of those. I think I have to pick Keller.
You want to? Okay.
Just to make sure that.
So should I pick Duffy just to screw that? I'm gonna
hedge. Then we both hedge against each other.
That's no fun.
But it's funny. It's funny though.
It's funny, but yeah, I genuinely think
this is me against you though. So
yeah,
right.
Yeah. I do also want to genuinely pick my picks rather than just picking against you.
I want to win, Mike.
Yeah, I want to be true to myself at least somewhat.
All right, I got just a few left.
Okay.
Will any Royals player get votes for the MVP award?
We looked this up before the broadcast started, and Jorge Soler got 1/10th place vote out of the 30 voters. So for 1 point, he tied for 21st, and it took him 48 home runs to tie for 21st.
Just to get a vote.
To get a vote, but the team was so horrible. And if like you think they're going to finish 500, I would say somebody will get votes if they're that close. So I don't know if they'll be that
over under of 1/2 of 1 vote. You would take the over.
I'm gonna say if like Mondesi gets like a ton of triples and doubles and stolen bases,
right?
Has good defensive here, he might get some votes because he's kind of all around player. Or Witt, kind of the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go. Yeah, why not?
It's short. I thought that was optimistic just to even put this on here.
Yeah. Yeah. Why not? Why not?
I think
and Salvi is back. If Salvi has a good year, because he's a catcher, people think he's
one. It's just anybody.
Yeah,
You
one
know,
vote somewhere. Yeah,
you should be able to find a vote somewhere, right?
I hope. I hope.
I thought you would say no on this. So
I thought I would too, but then I myself
I
in.
will also say yes.
Okay.
Will any Royals player get a vote in the Cy Young Award?
Cy Young, I'm gonna say no. I don't think I am less optimistic about the pitching than I am about the hitting. And
The reason I will say yes will be because it's possible that like Kennedy has a great like say he gets converts all of his saves.
Kennedy, I forgot, but he was saving.
Maybe
Yeah,
maybe he steals a vote somewhere.
maybe he becomes the next Wade Davis.
That's what they're hoping for, right? I mean, that's what they moved him.
He was a good closer last year, and we've gotten rid of some of the other decent relievers. Tim Hill just got traded away, and
yeah, I think the Tim Hill deal was more of the league making the 3-batter minimum requirement, and he was very much a lefty specialist.
Yeah,
not used that way by Yost, but I think he would use him that way.
And there are other lefty guys like Lovelady and stuff like that that could be used instead. So, yeah, why not? Why? Yeah, I'm gonna say no though for the Cy Young. I don't think top 10 Cy Young any votes, but I'm gonna be optimistic for the MVP, but not for the Cy Young.
I will say yes though for the Cy Young, just because I think there's a chance that somebody like Kennedy steals a vote because of a high save total or something. He could, if the team wins 30 games, he could have 30 saves, right?
That's true. I don't because they're not going to build that many people up.
That would be a lot of saves for a short season, right?
I don't think
that would earn somebody.
All those games together, there might not be as many opportunities for to build up saves in a row though either, unless the Royals pace their wins at the right way.
Every other game, they win every other game.
Every other game, exactly.
How about Rookie of the Year? Will they have any rookies that emerge?
I think the best chance
earn a vote in the Rookie of the Year race.
I think the best chance is Brady Singer because he's going to start on I think Saturday for the Royals.
Oh, is he? I didn't know. I didn't hear that yet.
He's in the rotation. He's starting for some one of the, he has definitely made it. So I think if Singer has, I think he's got the best chance. Again, a pitcher. If you have a decent showing, a short season, the hitters are maybe less likely to shine. The pitchers. I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna guess Brady Singer or one. Maybe there'll be another pitcher that comes in, but Singer definitely is in the rotation to start because I think Junis was
starting the season on the injured list anyway.
So yeah. I'm gonna say yes.
I think I will say no on this one. I think maybe Singer doesn't come around until next year.
Okay.
Kind of thing. But he may make it up and pitch a little bit, but I think he'll still qualify as a rookie next year, and they may try to get him at least a taste this year to try to really go for it next year.
Yeah. How does rookie qualification work this year versus next year? Because 60, how many games is it that you can play?
25, I think. Yeah.
It's like September call-ups don't really count. It's like 35 or 40. I mean, it's some number of at-bats or something.
Well, there's appearances is one, and then there's days on roster is another. They could be on a roster but have fewer appearances if they're on it for a longer time. So I think there's two different ways to qualify.
And then how would they count this as a percent of a season, or will they count it as number of games?
I think it's always number of games. I don't think it matters on anything else because like the suspensions and everything are game numbers. So like the Astros penalties were like season, not 162 games. Yeah, I guess so. And like the
they have the 80 game suspensions for drugs and stuff.
Right, but it's by game. It's not by it's not half a season. It's
that's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
How many Gold Gloves did the Royals win this year? They tended to have a couple.
They tend to get one or two every year.
Sal's back.
Salvi is back. Mondesi, I think, is a good shot.
There are some good shortstops in the AL. So
I think my MVP pick is Lindor, and
well, and obviously Gordon, who tends to win almost every year.
Yeah, he gets consideration just about every year. I think somebody like Witt could if he plays enough at one particular position. Yeah,
I don't know. It just depends on how Matheny decides to play him because
I think probably
He's
The
he
number we would
played the
say,
opening game of this
the
summer.
number we would pick is 1.5, probably over under 1.5. Is that what you would?
That's fair, yeah.
It's like if both Gordon and Sal can get it.
That's the standard right now anyway, is they both win. And then sometimes another player also gets one.
Oh, so would you do 2.5? Would you say that?
I think on a short season, the over under of 1.5 is more than fair.
Okay.
Especially because the team isn't,
Yeah, I'm gonna say under.
under. I think I'd take the over on that.
Okay.
Because they have two perennial guys and then a few other.
I think both of them maybe have lost a step as defenders, but I don't know.
So if it was over under a half of one, would you take the over?
I'd say one. Yeah, I think one. I think two is a lot, but you never know.
Two is a lot.
Some rando. So you're saying one. You're over 1.5 though. Gordon. Yeah. Okay. Gordon's usually not gotten it lately because he's been injured, and if he can stay healthy for a 60-game season, he is such a good route runner and such a good.
He always makes it look easy,
and his arm is fantastic, and people don't run against him, so he's got that kind of reputation as well. Salvi as well.
And I saw Sal in his first game back looked solid behind the plate. He blocked a lot of pitches in the dirt, and that's always really tough to do.
I'll say I'm still gonna go with the under. I'm gonna go with the under. Like the over. Are you right? You're writing all these down, right?
I have to watch this again, so I'll get them down from that.
I guess somebody can watch it again and keep track for us. Our legions of viewers. Well, we've got the season to look forward to now to see which of our picks turn out to be a little bit better than the other. I don't think I'm not terribly confident on it. Baseball is one of the most unpredictable sports, and especially when it comes to individual performances.
We could miss every one of these, both of them.
Also the short game. Well, I would doubt we're going to miss all of the playoff teams. That we could technically, because there were more. Because we didn't together pick. I guess the division winners could all be teams that we didn't pick. And the wild card teams, I guess technically could all be teams we didn't pick either. Yeah. That neither one of us picked. But I think we'll get some of those right. I think for the most part we will. I think we'll get a couple of our other predictions right as well. Our over under, one of us has to be right. So
because we specifically set them so there was no push, basically.
Yeah. So one of us
has to win.
I would say luckily one of us will get a stab in the dark and say one of us is going to pick the MVP or the Cy Young or something. It's even a blind hog finds an acorn every once in a while. You heard that?
We'll have to weight those heavier or something for the wild guess ones.
Broken claws.
Runners
right twice a day. That sort of thing. So yeah, I think our prediction is as anybody's.
And we'll have our attorneys review the scoring system and make sure that it fits with what we're both.
We'll look at the fine print and the different. They'll probably add some clauses and more specific language to some of our bets, and we can always come back to our viewers and inform them of how things have changed if they have indeed changed, and that's something that I'm sure they will all look forward to, the minutiae, legalese and minutiae. And I think, that is one of the reasons why you might tune into the Warning Track Power Hours, because we get so deep into the meaningless.
We live there.
Yes, that's all right. That's what we find. We find the boring interesting here at the Warning Track Power Hour, and so we have books and other things on our walls, and we have too many degrees to count. And so I think this has been an excellent baseball preview, one of the best, as President Trump would say. Many people are saying this has been the best baseball preview, big league baseball preview.
Anything's possible.
Yeah,
much like the 60-game baseball season.
Yeah,
and we picked chalk.
We did. We picked some weird ones there. A few, the Phillies, maybe some other ones.
Phillies, that might be it. Yeah.
And we picked against the Twins. They were the consensus AL Central win.
That's just a personal dislike of his way.
Yeah, and I think we did. I think I think our predictions were good. I think our as you like to say, I think we nailed this episode. And so on that note, I will bid all of our viewers farewell, pleasant dreams of your team this year. Again, it's anybody's year. It always is anybody's year, but I think especially this year, it can be. One team just has to get hot. And, even the Royals potentially could get hot and not, and sneak into the playoffs, even though their team on paper does not look like a playoff team. So I hope they do, of course. I always hope they do well, but I could see a big surprise, some big surprises in this short season, even more than if it were just a regular short season with all with the variables about somebody might come down with COVID and maybe a whole team gets a ton of people and they have to, maybe one team has to back out of the playoffs or back out of the season, and then how's that gonna be handled or something like that. I hope that doesn't happen. But I could see several starters on a team go down, and
it's tough to fill positions.
Yeah,
the minor leagues too,
especially when it's maybe you get 3 infielders that go down. What are you gonna do? Pitching's bad enough, but if there's 3 of especially if they're clustered in the same position, you got your shortstop, your second baseman, and your utility guy.
3 of your catchers come down with the coronavirus at the same time.
With the Royals, 3 out of the top 4 catchers came down with it, so we were left with Neighbors Deloria when Nick Denny and Cam Gallagher and Sal all had it. So yeah, who knows? Maybe the Royals will be more successful because all their guys have had it already, and therefore they won't get it later in the season. They've built up their immunity, so there's reason to hope, I think. And because of those reasons for hope, I will. I think we can end on a happy note. I think that's a good place to end. As always,
the happy note of all the teams getting all the corona. Yes.
Yes. The teams that aren't your team will definitely be stricken with horrible illnesses, but they'll recover for next year because they're young and idealistic and in good health. So, on that note, I am Michael Werman. He is Andrew Scaff. We are the Morning Trek Power Hour. Please like and subscribe and share and tell people about this wonderful little channel that we have. And we'll be back shortly with a lot more content as well. So football related, other sports related, and just kind of weird things that we find interesting related. So on that note, good day. Do we get it?
Destroyed it. Absolutely. Perfect.
Yes, I think so. I think that was pretty good.
When we recorded the predictions episode, it was with the format chosen by MLB, historic MLB. The next day after recording this episode, then the MLB and the players unit decided to add playoff teams to make the year more exciting, perhaps, or
I think we're
earn some extra money from TV deals. There are several reasons it could be. But that leads us to needing to now add picks to our predictions from the playoffs. So
I think also that the idea that the season was so short, it's sort of meaningless anyway, and maybe picking the teams that are in the playoffs was not going to be as random, depending on scheduling and things like that. So I think having more playoff teams in this environment doesn't hurt, because this is not, I think they shouldn't do anything like this if they're going to keep have a long season next year. They should not have 16 teams in the playoffs. That's by far too many. I think I think the regular season needs to be rewarded, and success during the regular season needs to be rewarded rather than diminish. It's one reason also I was against the expansion of the playoffs in the NFL, adding the 7th team, which I think also kind of waters things down, and it makes the number 1 seed very important. But I think in a lot of cases the number 1 seed is a little bit luck based and schedule based. Like the Ravens have such an easy schedule this year, compared to maybe the Chiefs, who are as good or better, who have a much tougher schedule. And I think having the 2 buys makes it at least a little bit more fair. But anyway, let's talk about our new expanded 16-team Major League Baseball playoff race. I think in our original picks, I picked the Dodgers to win the West, the Cardinals to win the Central, and the Phillies to win the East. And then I've had Arizona and Washington as the 2 wild card teams. Arizona from the West and Washington from the NL East. I'm going to.
So I think we're just going to convert our wild card picks to second places or division or wild card teams, depending on how
depending on how it breaks out. So as it works out, the top 2 teams in each division plus 2 wild cards are going to be the 8. So I have Arizona now second place in the NL West. The Nationals second place in the NL East. I'll add a second place in the NL Central. I'll add the Milwaukee Brewers. Milwaukee's been a very solid team the last few years. Christian Yelich, the pitching's been good. They lost Mike Moustakas to the Reds, who coincidentally are going to be my third place team from this NL Central, and also one of the wild card teams. And the other wild card team I'll have coming out of the West, I'll have the San Diego Padres. I think the Padres have been investing a lot of money over the last few years, a little bit like the Angels, to try to build a contending team, and Hosmer and Manny Machado and people like that. So I think maybe this is, again, out of 15 teams in each league, 8 make it, so you only have more than the top half. So I think the Padres are a good possibility there. So my 7th and 8th, my 6th, 7th, and 8th playoff teams would be Milwaukee as the second seed in the Central, the Reds also coming out of the Central, and then the Padres coming out of the West. How about you?
Do you have an order on those, or is it?
Do we want to make an order?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's say.
Well, you only need the order in the wild card teams, because we already had division.
Well, we would order the seedings of the divisions, right? Number 1 through 8. Do you want to make number 1?
No. I mean, just a winner, second place, winner, second place, winner, second place, and then the higher wild card and lower wild card. Let's just do that.
Okay.
Just rank your wild cards.
Ranking the wild cards.
Yeah.
I'll rank the Reds as my number 1 wild card, and then the Padres as number 2.
Okay. All right. Then I've got in the West. We have the same picks for the West. So the Dodgers winning, D-backs second. I had the Brewers winning the Central. I'm now adding the Cubs as my second place Central team. I originally had Nationals winning the East, and then I had Braves and Phillies as also coming out of it as the wild card spots. So my Braves will be my number 2 team in the East, and then the Phillies will then become my number 1 wild card team.
Okay.
And I'm going to add the second wild card of the Rockies.
The Rockies out of the West.
Yeah.
Okay, I think those are all. Again, who knows what's going to happen?
They are all teams in those divisions.
Yeah, and I think they're all teams that aren't predicted really to suck a whole lot this year. So
Yeah.
At least any team, I'd say 500 or close to it, is going to be in the thick of this wild card race. So it'll be exciting having this little short season. I hope that MLB doesn't get any ideas thinking, the season should all be this short, or they should have all these playoff teams normally, because then I think it's just kind of meaningless. Also I think the wild card round is also going to be a best of 3 playoff, right? So the 1 versus 8, that would be a very perhaps likely upset.
It's no longer a play-in game.
Yeah,
like it was in previous years with the 1 game playoff, basically play-in. I guess it's more like really what it was.
Yeah, 1 game playoff. Now it's a best of 3 series, which is
which will lengthen the playoffs. So that, like in time wise, I think the playoffs are going to last almost as long as the regular season is.
Well, yeah, I guess so. Although it's 3 games instead of 1 game, possibly 3 games instead of 1 game. So
Right.
because the fifth, the top 4, you still have the quarterfinals. You have quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals in each of the leagues than the World Series. But yeah, it'll make it a little bit longer. But yeah, more baseball. I think at this point is good for everybody.
Absolutely, I'm not complaining at all. I think this is great. I mean, given the season that we're having with the shortened season, this is almost a necessity.
Yeah.
To really make it more fair, I guess. Really to try to get the best teams.
Yeah,
advance in the playoffs.
I think it makes sure that the good teams get in the playoffs, but it also allows a lot of crappy teams in the playoffs. And I think the playoff format doesn't necessarily guarantee the best team's going to win, but at least you'll get into the playoffs.
Well, not in the first series necessarily, but it makes it less of a coin flip as to who plays in the second round.
I guess that's true. It's better than a one-gamer.
But and also then, if a team's starting to come up late in the season, then they're not going to get left out because they're too far behind.
That's true. So, I think it'll keep more people in the game longer. I think you'll have fewer people just maybe throwing the season away.
Well, yeah, I mean, because there's really nothing to throw it away for. I mean, there's no real advantage to tank this season.
No, unless you're like 2-15 coming out, then
but it's still going to do any good. I mean, you're not going to get to see any new draft picks. Next year's draft should be absolutely stocked with talent because it's going to have like 40 rounds of players that didn't get drafted this season, plus all of the players that would have gotten drafted next season anyway. It's it should be absolutely packed.
Yeah,
what's out there for
know who
talent.
Players are because nobody's been playing baseball. So who knows what I guess. Yeah, to me, it's not really an advantage to go first.
The difference between like a number 1 pick and a number 2 pick should be almost nothing.
Yeah, it's hard to say what the draft is going to be. Yeah, maybe it'll be an expanded draft. Maybe they'll go back to like 80 rounds or something because they had to miss so much. I think that would be interesting, a longer draft. Because the draft used to be boring to watch, I'm sure, but like it used to be, it wasn't Mike Piazza like a 73rd round draft pick or something.
Yeah, it was, whatever the last round was. Yeah,
63rd
round or something like that. Yeah.
Rod Dyson was a 50th round draft pick. They don't even have the 50th round anymore. I think it's only 40 now. So I think, and then last year, of course, was only 5. So and then
this year.
Yeah, this past
it was only a month ago.
It seems like a long time based on how fast.
It was just June, Mike.
Yeah, so many in the before times. We're in the after times now, but yeah. Okay, let's talk about the American League, I guess.
Yep.
All right, so I think I had Oakland as the somewhat surprising winner of the AL West, Cleveland as the winner in the Central, and the Yankees in the East. My second place team in the West, and one of the wild cards I had originally had was Houston. And then I also had the Rays as the second place team in the East and the other wild card, but now those are 2 second place teams. My third second place team is out of the Central. I think the Twins will probably be the second place team. I think they and the Indians are the two most talented teams right now in the Central. My first wild card team, the number 7 seed, I guess overall, I think the Red Sox still have enough there. I think you picked the Red Sox as one of your original 5 anyway. So I think I picked them as the 7th team or the first wild card. And then because I didn't really want to pick any of the other teams, it's like I couldn't pick the White Sox over the Royals. I didn't think the Blue Jays, because of their traveling, was really, even though they found a new home in Buffalo, we found out. I still don't think that's going to be, especially in the AL East, which is going to have some tough teams. I don't think they can be another one. The Orioles are supposed to be really terrible. The Tigers are supposed to be really terrible. I think the Mariners are also supposed to be really terrible. So that kind of leaves us with just do I want to pick the Angels? I think as we had talked about, they're a very top-heavy team. I don't know. So I decided I'm just going to pick the Royals as my 8th team in the second wild card.
That sounds like no confidence from
I have no confidence. really,
just say, I got nothing to lose. I'm picking the Royals. Why not?
I'm not that.
I didn't. I did not though.
I'm not that. It's like I have nothing to lose, but I'm also not looking forward to that pick because I'm pretty sure it's going to be wrong. But if I'm going to be right, I'm going to be happy. And so I picked the Royals largely because I did not want to pick the team that you, I believe, picked as your second wildcard team. But why don't we go through?
It just points in a pride to playoff though. It's not. There's no. It's not for anything. There's nothing to lose in this competition except face, I guess, right?
You lose face. Yes. That's the most. If I were, a Japanese businessman, that would be the worst thing to lose. But really, this is the most important sort of competition in my life that we're going through. So I must not lose face. And I could not lose the Royals didn't make it. If the Royals made it and I didn't predict them, that would cause great shame to me and my ancestors. So
yeah, I prefer to just be wrong if it's with my team doing better than
I like that
than
too.
I expected, because that means they overachieved my expectations. So that makes me. I'd rather be wrong on paper than pick against my team, I guess, or specifically maybe.
Okay. So
but then pick my team and be wrong, I guess. Maybe that's what it is. That's it. Yeah.
Sometimes I would, but yeah, I also just kind of, I don't know. Why not? Why not pick the Royals? But
sure.
Even though I reluctantly picked the Royals
for the last spot. Now, if you set them in the one and put them in the one spot, then then we know you're crazy. But
no, I'm not.
A total homer in that case.
Yes,
though, right?
I am not.
Yeah.
I'm not. What's in? I'm not like in Major League 2. Have you watched Major League 2?
Not in years. I mean, I've seen it, but
Randy Quaid played a very, very enthusiastic Indians fan at the beginning of Major League 2, and he was all pumped up that they were going to repeat and go to the World Series. But then they started being terrible, and then he really turned against them, and then finally he came around again. But that's one I really enjoy Major League 2. I know you've watched Major League 1 many times.
Yeah, it's my typical spring training viewing, annual viewing.
Mm-hmm.
I like one of like 3 movies that I tended to watch like almost every year anyway.
Yeah, Major League 2 I think is Major League 3 is a little worse with Scott Bakula back in the minors. It doesn't
back to the minors. Yeah.
really connect to the Cleveland team. But Major League 2 has most of the big stars back, although of course Omar Epps replaces Wesley Snipes as Willie Mays Hayes.
Right.
But then there's some other characters. Yeah, you have Serrano's back.
Dennis Haysbert has become a huge star now.
Well, at least because of his Allstate commercials, but there's been other things I know too. But anyway, I feel a little like Randy Quaid. I don't want to be. I'm not going to go as far as Randy Quaid in the in Major League 2.
Not Randy Quaid from the beginning of the show, the movie, or the middle. You're back on the way up.
Yeah, I'm the reluctant embracer, and
perfect.
Yeah, that's a good motto to have. Anyway, okay, let's go through your teams, Andrew.
All right, so I had in the AL West, I had the Astros winning the West. Angels is a wild card team, so now they're my number 2 pick in the West. Had the Indians winning the Central. I'm adding now the White Sox to the number 2 spot, leaving the Twins out.
You really dislike the Twins.
I just never think that they're going to achieve when they're expected to achieve.
Who was that girl who? I remember you were talking about this at a baseball game a few years ago when you were at a Royals Twins game, and the Twins used to always draw pretty well in Kansas City because nobody wanted to go to the games in the Metrodome, and they wanted to go to the nice outdoor games
which is actually a testament to the fans to travel.
Yeah.
To watch a baseball team, right?
It wasn't somebody really. Was Jason Kubel? Was he with the Twins at that point? That person was screaming how wonderful, like she wanted to have Jason Kubel's children, and
pretty much, yeah. Said the name repeatedly with that Minnesota accent, though. Too, it was more of a Kubel instead of just
Jason
Kubel, like everyone else would say it.
Yeah.
Oh God, so grating. Forever.
Okay. Well, so that's why you're still rooting against the Twins, I believe.
Because of that incident.
Yeah, that's what
at least 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Anyway,
On the-
in the East,
I wasn't
Ernie
even there.
had-
I remember you telling it with such sort of seething anger that it's always stuck with me.
yeah, that's surprising.
That was when Jason Kubel was a young up-and-coming player who he didn't remain young, and he never went up or came. So I don't remember what happened to him, but
Yeah, it was just the talking at length about a player that had very little opportunity to have that much talking about, especially during a game in an opposing stadium. All right, come on. Anyway, yeah, AL East that I have Yankees winning, and I had the Red Sox as a wild card. Now they'll be my number 2 in the East, and wild card teams. I'm going to pick the A's and the Rays then as my second wild card.
interesting. Okay, so we've got.
I think we're
same.
safe. I think at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have Angels in. You have White Sox in. I have the Twins and the Royals in the playoffs. I think you have a better shot than I do, quite frankly. But I'm not going to give up my Royals. And sad that you didn't believe in them like I did.
So you're closer to a true fan than I am, I guess, because I did pick them. So.
I feel I have to support them out of obligation, and very well. Royals it is. I really even thought about trying to get them in as the fifth, one of the 5 wild card teams, and I couldn't, despite the rosiest of colored glasses I tried to put on.
Right. So you tried to put them in at the 5, couldn't bring yourself to do it, and then almost couldn't bring yourself to bring them in at the 8th spot.
I would say if there were 12 teams in the American League West, I'd be pretty confident the Royals could make it. 10 teams, 50-50.
12 would be right around where they were last year, right? I think.
Well, I think
13 maybe.
I think they'd have to beat out the Tigers, the Mariners, and the Orioles would be the 3 bottom teams.
Yeah.
And then the Royals could be that.
I think that's right where they were last season, though, right?
Yeah. It would be close.
Yeah. So I mean, really, it's just picking more or less from what the hierarchy was last season, and then
we don't know. We're
applying it to this year. But you've given them a little bit of leeway. You're saying they jumped over 3 other teams.
Yeah, we're just being a little more honest than the professional pundits here and the prognosticators and things like that. Yeah, that's all they're doing too. So anyway, I think I'm looking forward to see what happens. I think that'll make the playoffs exciting, and it might actually win a few fans back who might have otherwise maybe been soured on baseball because it took them so long to come to this agreement. Really, they could have probably just been played the spring training facilities and just kept doing that since April or May, really.
At least May. They should have been formulating a plan in April, and they should have been playing in May.
Yeah.
And then maybe going back to the home stadiums like around now.
Yeah.
But if all was well to that point.
Yeah, but the Royals by this point would be out of contention, and now there's still a little bit of hope, probably. At least I have.
Would they be?
No, I don't know. I assume so. Because they would have had 5 playoff or 10 playoff teams total rather than 16 playoff teams total.
Oh, in that regard, yeah.
That would have been the other world. Yeah. Anyway,
sure.
But good predictions as always, Dr. Scaff. I look forward to proving you wrong.